Town of Adams Select Board meeting is now in session, Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. Could everyone please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have two sets. All members can vote. March 16th, 2022, and March 23rd, 2022. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as submitted for March 16th, 2022, and March 23, 2022.
We have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second it. I think you said March 22nd on the...
I'm sorry, yeah. The motion? Or?
Yeah, the motion, I think.
So it's March 16th,
Right.
2022, and March 23rd, 2022.
Okay, motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Second by Joe. Any discussion? Changes, omissions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous. Public comment. Anyone here in the audience who would like to address the Board of Selectmen with anything that's not on the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to new business. The first item is a vote on 20 East Street Project Award, RFP 22-002. Eamon?
So back in the fall, in mid-October, we released RFP number 22002 for the disposition and redevelopment of 20 East Street, which is the town's former community center. The RFP was issued with the express goal of getting 20 East Street back on the tax rolls and especially trying to get more market rate and affordable housing for a variety of income levels back in the community, something we very, very, very much need. Additionally, the RFP kind of was open to looking at other mixed-use proposals and other ideas for the property, so housing wasn't the only thing we were willing to entertain there at the site. But the RFP was issued from October, ran through mid-February-ish. We received one proposal at the end of that process from CMV Contracting out of Stephentown, New York. A small committee, a selection committee that included myself, Donna Season, Jay Green, John Duvall, and Jerry Garner, the building inspector, reviewed the proposal. It met all the minimum requirements. We followed up with an interview of CMV to talk about their proposal. And afterwards, we issued a recommendation that the town move forward with, selecting them as a developer for the project. I'll let them talk about the details of the proposal, but I'll just say, it very much aligns with all the goals that the town has long had for that property. I think, it's going to address some of the housing need we have. They're also proposing a daycare or early childhood education center for the site, which is something we could really use for the region. They're a unique developer in that they're can control costs through by owning their own construction company, and additionally they are proposing a lot of interesting features for the site. It's a very unique property. It's very, very close to downtown, but yet is very, very secluded and kind of has a private feel. So I think that they're the right developer for the site, and one that's kind of going to put their a unique stamp on it and make it into a really great place. So I'll let them come up and introduce themselves and give a little presentation on their proposal, and then we can open it up for questions to the board.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Could you please state your name and the organization you're affiliated to?
Absolutely. My name is Eric Waller. I'm with CMV Construction. Also here is Bob Hinton, his wife Christine, and their daughter Kayleen, who are here. We appreciate you folks giving us time to speak. I just want to take a few moments tonight just to go over some of our thoughts, address the RFP, hopefully answer some of your questions, but I'm sure you'll have some questions at the end, and I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't know them, Bob will, and if we don't know them, we'll get back to you. We'll be honest about that. First, I want to just tell you a little bit about CMV. We've been developing projects in the Berkshires for over 20 years. So we feel that we're very much part of the community, of the Berkshire community. As mentioned, we're headquartered in Steventown, but we've done work, in the capital district of Albany and New York, all the way up through Maine. And we've done a lot of work in the Berkshires. So we feel like we're a part of this community, and we also want to be a part of this specific community. We want to be a part of the Adams community, and it's a unique opportunity, and it's one that we're looking forward to moving forward. And I just want to, express that, we are here to be truly a part of the community and partners. And, part of that is we want to, every much as you do, is we want to leave something that we can all be proud of at the end of the day, a project that can address some of the needs that were mentioned before, and we can look back in a few years and say this was a success, and many years down the road they can say that as well. Bob is the sole owner of CMV. Like I said, we've done work in the Berkshires in the past. He's done work, the company's done work on Soldier On in Pittsfield, the Monterey Public Library, and Bostwick Gardens in Great Barrington. We're unique, I think, in the sense that we do everything from, custom home remodeling all the way up to a $250,000 square foot construction, which we have done in the past. So what is important, or what is unique about us is that we own the company, we own all our equipment, we can control cost. We all know that there's been issues with supply chains over the past few months, and we have relationships that have helped us to not only keep those supply chains flowing, but also to give us competitive pricing, which I think is a benefit to our customers. Just want to go over quickly a few things, just so everybody's up to speed. Obviously, we're talking about 20 East Street, which has been vacant since 2019. The town, in their proposal, has asked the developer to purchase and provide housing, multi-family condos or rental, assisted living, offices, or a combination of all these. We were happy to submit a proposal. One of the things they also asked for was expanding housing opportunities in the community, as well as to, of course, expand the tax base, which this proposal could do, and of course job creation is very important. And as mentioned before, creating those new market rate housing opportunities as potentially, as well as affordable housing opportunities. We're talking about parcel 268 and 269. Obviously, 268 is the one we're talking about that has existing building on it, which is just over 7,900 square feet, zone residential R4. The unique that I read about this, and I've learned about this project, is that the the select board had also overlaid 40R of smart growth on top of this as a zone, which is I see it as very unique, and it's I think an attempt to bring in this kind of housing, which makes sense. It is a small community back there. It is nestled away. You don't even know it's back there, but that's great. We're also close to the trail and close to all the amenities, so it's a very unique property. Finally, just reiterating what the town probably already knows, but I just want to make sure that we discuss it here. The creation of new quality residential development, again, getting the property back on the tax rolls is important. Making sure that it fits in, as I mentioned, with the with the neighbors. It's a unique property. We have many single-family homes around there. Job creation, and the very unreasonable request that you guys want this done in a timely fashion, right? So those are all things we all want. I just wanted to mention that. Let me tell you a little bit more about what we propose and what we see in this partnership. Number one, we'll call it Phase 1. We're talking about the existing building on 20 East Street. We see that as, just to let you understand that as we see it, it's a it's an investment of, on the company's aspect, it's an investment of about $1 million to start the renovation process. We want to keep that building and renovate it. We would target young professionals who are looking to establish themselves in this community. And like I said, very close to all the amenities that the community has, but also, tucked away and really quiet and secluded back there. We see that this will turn into 8 units, 4 units on the first floor, 4 units on the second floor. We see them as 2-bedroom apartments. As I mentioned, 4 on each. We see those as about 800 to 1,000 square feet per unit. Just to let you know what we plan on doing, there obviously has to be some work on the building. We're going to be replacing all the windows. We're going to be taking down the existing siding. We're going to be putting up exterior insulation. We're going to be re-siding the exterior, putting in a whole new HVAC system, putting on a whole new roof, putting on balconies. It's probably going to be all new plumbing. It's most likely going to be a big upgrade in the electrical. We're going to have to, and we need to, and we want to make upgrades to the parking lot, which is kind of, sagged in spots. And, if and when, we get the approval of the board, we would then engage with an architectural firm to start coming up with, some renderings that we could show you and get a better look of what we're thinking. But right here, we just have the property in itself, and then behind me, kind of a rendering of what we see the new building looking like, as well as the inside of the apartments. We expect that these units will be in the ballpark of about $1,200 to $1,500 a month for rent. And, completion, when can it be done already? We're thinking, we think 2023. The sooner the better, obviously, we all want that. And I just want to mention that, if we move forward, we expect this to create 20 construction jobs, as well as at least 1 long-term property management and maintenance position on this property alone. I want to focus on phase 1, but we're going to talk about phase 2 and phase 3. But the phase 1 is the one we can see and kind of picture in our mind, because it's there, and it's the first thing we plan to tackle. As far as phase 2 goes, it's our hope that, we will build a new building that will consist of 20 apartments, 20 different units, as well as an early child care development center. Same target market, end user, same pricing, same rough square footage. That would be built on what was the former building that burned down on the side of the parking lot. So that's what that would go. And I do want to mention that, Christina's done a lot of work on the history aspect of this location. It's really, really interesting. And so one of the things that we, want to make sure that you folks understand, and it's important to us, is how do we draw that history through to a new, that new property. We have the building, we want to keep it. How do we, make a connection to the past? And that comes down to a lot of different things, whether it's naming it and it's making sure that it, has that community feel. And obviously, we would finish phase 1 before we moved on to phase 2. And we expect that when phase 2 comes around, we're talking 40 to 55 construction jobs, and more full-time jobs with maintenance, as well as in the child care center. And then phase 2 represents about a $4 million investment, as far as the company goes, is into the build-up and construction of it. Last, and again, we're kind of forecasting into the future, which is difficult to do, but we consider phase 1, rehab the existing building, get it up and running, finish that, go on to phase 2, and then as phase 2 is done, and phase 3, I guess, would be what we're looking for is how do we improve access to the property? And that's kind of, that's, you know, if you have 25, 26, 28 units in there, and, you know, right now it has the one access point. In a perfect world, we'd like to see, you know, an improved access point or another access point, but obviously that's out of our control. But that's what we're looking, and of course, we want to make sure anything we do fits into the character of the community, and has the input and hopefully the support of not only you folks, but of the folks in the neighborhood. So that being said, I just want to again reiterate that, you know, we've been a part of this community for over 20 years. We want to become a partner and a member of the Adams community, and we want to leave something that we're all proud of. And I'll open up to questions again. If I can't answer them, Bob will answer them, and if he can't answer them, we'll jot them down and we'll get back to you ASAP. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Jay, anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank the Hintons for applying. Everybody should know that this isn't their first stop in Adams. I want to think it was pre-COVID times, the before times, as they say. So Robert and Kristen have come in, they've met with town officials before. They were looking at other properties in Adams. They've been very loyal to Adams. They've been stuck on Adams. And I think one of the stories that you should share is when you went home, you know, Robert, after looking at Memorial, what you said to your family about the East Street property. I think that's important for the community to hear, that you do have a connection with it. You really care about it. It's resonated with you. So they've been great people to work with, and we were pleased that they applied in answer to the proposal. We think they would be a good fit for the community, and you know, we are pleased to see people such as yourselves come to Adams and interested with it and see something done with the property. So this isn't their first stop, put it that way.
Okay. Robert, anything, or are you guys ready for questions, or? Okay.
Just to piggyback on Jay's story, just to kind of say, so when he went and saw the memorial, and as soon as he got home, he brought out the project and he wanted me,
Yeah, if you don't mind, could you please come
sorry.
up? That's okay.
Hi, Kristen Hinton. But just to say what Jay was saying, so he comes and he tours the Memorial School, and he goes, yeah, the school was okay, but it's a little bit of a larger scope than we want to deal with. But he goes, but you have to see 20 East Street, and he brought it out and showed it to me, and even then he goes, I think this is a really special property. And so that was well before, I think we were we in talks before the other building at that point? I can't recall, but this was a long time coming that we were doing this. So I'm glad that we finally now have a chance to kind of see our vision to the end, and hopefully, we get an opportunity to do something in it. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, questions from the board. I'll start with Christine, then we'll go to Joe.
No, just, I thought it was an impressive proposal. Appreciated the proposal, that's a nod to the history of the property, and just very exciting. I had heard of your company. I had heard that you were sniffing around Adams, I think back in 2019. So I'm happy to see this proposal in front of us. I was wondering if, Eric, you might be able to bring that board just around. I'm short, I can't see it. So I know it was for the camera, but I was just curious.
That's the front of the building
Okay.
here.
And so the 4 apartments, are they, wait, no, you said, right?
4 on the first floor, 4 on the...
4 on the first floor and 4 on the second floor. Okay. So they would be 1-level apartments, but 2 bedrooms in each. I didn't know if it was like a townhouse, type.
No,
Okay.
single level.
Lovely. And so that's using the side as the front entrance to the building to then,
This was our first rendering, and
Yep.
we've already made changes. We measured
course.
originally with satellite.
Yep.
The building's not quite as wide as we did, so we originally had a corridor on the second floor, which we no longer have. So this will be where the balconies will be now,
okay,
and then on the back, we'll have some balconies over where that big stone fireplace is.
very nice. I'm familiar with the building. I served on, there was a nonprofit that was in that building. I served on their board as their board chair for 9 years, so I know the ins and outs of that building pretty well. And I think it would lend itself to some really nice housing, and as you mentioned, it is tucked away. It has been a desirable piece of property for that particular reason. So, I might have other questions, but right now, we're good.
Hi there. Hi.
Oh, John.
I have a few questions, but first of all, I'd like to thank you for your interest in the town of Adams. I know we're very appreciative of that. I think we're an up-and-coming community. We've been kind of down for a while, but we've got a lot of things going now in this community that I think is going to push us ahead in the very near future. A couple questions about the building itself. I didn't get to really read this because I kind of just got it. But are you going to have to put in an elevator?
We'll work with the building department, but we don't think we're gonna have to.
Okay.
Go on any
Yeah.
floors.
And
Is it okay if you go to the podium, please, so the people at home can hear? Thank you.
And also, I really like the building. In my opinion, I was surprised we got someone interested in it because most of the developers are looking for that brick and mortar. That seems to be the forte for most developers, so I'm glad to see that you're going to look into it. Now, what will you do for like your heating closets and things since there's no basement?
We're gonna run a corridor in through the crawl space, right in the center of the building, which would be very well insulated, and kind of come right up the center of the building to feed, to branch off to.
Chase going up
Yeah,
through?
yep. We've got all the bathrooms centered there.
Yeah, and what about energy efficiency? That seems to be the thing going on now as far as, and you have a good reveal there for solar.
The flat roof in the back that we plan to add, one of the few structural changes,
Yep,
gives us a great place to house heat pumps on the roof.
yep.
And beyond that, it'd be insulation and windows.
Right, okay. And lastly, what are you going to use for your heat? Natural gas, oil?
We don't have a firm decision yet, but
Yeah,
we will.
okay, yeah. Well, once again, I really thank you for coming forward. I've lived in Adams my whole life, and I can remember when the convent was there.
Oh, yeah.
And matter of fact, I have some stained glass windows that were in it at one time. And so I just think that I liked your idea of a space that will be for, I don't know what you termed it, like a little youth center or something to that effect, or can you explain a little bit what that component will be like? What do you envision that being as?
Well, my sister is a Harvard doctor that runs a business called Research Schools International, and she has one program for an after-school program in Boston right now. So this would be the second location for that program. And from running our business and dealing with our employees, we know how difficult it is to have a place to put your kids while you're at work.
Right.
So we want to expand on what she's doing now to add the daycare as well as the enrichment program after school.
I think that's really a valuable component of it. We see that a lot, that, childcare is very hard to come by, and it really saddles parents, the ability for two parents to work, because sometimes the cost of daycare really takes away almost one of the people's salary. So I'm glad to see that. But once again, thanks for coming to the community and speaking for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the whole select board and town administrator and the people of Adams. Feel free to knock at our doors if you have any concerns or anything, because everything goes better if we all work together. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, thank you for clarifying that Dr. Hinton is your sister. I was reading the report yesterday, because we did get it early, your proposal, and I was going, is it Kristen, Christina, who's who? So thank you for clarifying that just now.
So I'm glad that you're keeping the building, keeping the character of the neighborhood. Like similar to our middle school, there were calls to tear it down, and you try as hard as you can and try to keep those buildings and have them renovated and upgraded to be able to keep them and keep the history of our community, instead of just tearing down buildings that are old. So it's good, looking at your rendition, and there's some changes with the decks that you can have there. I think it's fantastic that we're keeping that building. I didn't think we could, but that's great news. I got a question for Eamon. You still out there, Eamon? So the discussion initially was these apartments, the phase one, which will be the 8 apartments, are market rate and some low income. Could you explain that, what market rate apartments are?
Well, market rate is just whatever the market will bear.
Right.
In this area, yeah, it's generally less than 2K per rent per month.
Right, but with 40R,
Oh, with 40R.
40R, it makes a difference.
Well, yeah, so our 40R Smart Growth Overlay District,
Right.
that requires basically that the developer would have 20% that are included, 20% of the total units are set aside as affordable. And basically what that means is that they're restricted basically to low and moderate income individuals. And for our area, what is moderate income is actually is pretty high. I mean, I think, for a single person on their own, it's like mid 50K, 55K or so per year, which is not an insubstantial amount of money. And then, it gets a little, I think for a two or three member family, it starts to go up a little bit from that. But it's not, we're not talking about, we're talking about trying to provide housing, basically, for cops, firefighters, teachers, folks in that kind of salary range. So I think it'll be good. It'll kind of set aside some units for those working folks and working class families in our community. So.
Okay, thank you. It'd be great to have that daycare right there.
Yeah.
For them. And the last question, I'm sorry, I have one more question for Mr. Hinton. We talked, when we reviewed the proposal with you and your wife, the discussion was possible townhouses instead of the apartments for phase 2. Have you decided to go with the apartments?
We haven't made a decision, no.
You haven't made a decision, okay.
Well, once we are underway with phase 1, we'll start to really dig down, build a budget for both directions, and
Okay.
and we'll have an answer then.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else from the board? Okay, so, Eamon, one more time. I'm gonna get you in shape.
Should just stay up there all night, Eamon. This is mostly your meeting.
All right, so the agreed upon price is $25,000
$25,000.
For the building
Sale
and the-
price,
for the building and grounds as is,
as is, yeah.
right? That'll be effective after our vote?
Well, so we'll have to go through a purchase and sale agreement. That'll have to be approved at town meeting.
Okay,
So that's still out, still a little ways away.
right.
And then the other step we'll have to go through is a development agreement with CMV, and that'll include basically milestones that the developer must meet along the way, things that we'll be looking for. So that'll still need to be negotiated.
Okay,
Same process as Memorial School.
okay, great. Christine?
Can I ask a procedural question? It might be more for town council then. If we are to take a vote this evening, would it be 2 votes, 1 to award the project and 1 on the sale price? Or could we do it all in one?
I think you can do it in one vote.
Okay.
And then we would add it to the warrants for town meeting, right? That would be another separate vote down the road, which is in June, scheduled. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I would like to enthusiastically move to award the 20 East Street project to CMV Construction Services and for the purchase price of $25,000.
20 East Street, you had in?
Did I say 20th Street? I
Okay,
did?
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous. Thank you. Thank you all.
I like when there's applause. That was good.
Very exciting, we're looking forward to it. Okay. Next on the agenda is the ratification of library aid. Jay?
So this is a normal ratification process being asked of the board. We had a departure of our adult services librarian. The adult services librarian position was filled by somebody who had been appointed to library aid. So this is that backfill position. Library will now be back up to full staff with this ratification tonight.
Okay, we have a letter from the town administrator to the board. This letter is to advise the Board of Selectmen that subject to the board's ratification, as provided in Section 10 of the town charter, Jesse Graham has been appointed to the position of library aide/cataloger for the Adams Free Library. Ms. Graham comes to the town with good computer and communication skills, and her references indicate that she will be a good fit for the position. We look forward to having her join the library team and our community in this capacity. Upon your ratification and the passing of all hiring requirements, Ms., am I saying that right, Ms. Gam?
Gam.
Thank you. Will begin the 19-hour per week position effective April 11th, 2022, at the grade 4, step 1 rate of $15.87 per hour. What is the board's pleasure on this?
Mr. Chairman, I'll ratify the appointment of Jesse Gam to the position of library aide/cataloger at the grade 4, step 1 rate of $15.87 per hour.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion?
Yes, I just have a few questions. Being a 19-hour-a-week employee, that won't give her benefits?
Correct.
Okay. And another thing, as I always ask for any town position, how many people applied?
Holly did all the interviews. I want to say she probably had half a dozen.
Okay.
Holly couldn't be here tonight. She was home, nor can Ms. Gam be here tonight
Okay,
as well.
and-
And she's a resident of the town.
Okay, that's what I always like to ask.
I got you.
Like if there's positions that can be filled by town people, I'm all for that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And I apologize for chopping up Ms. Gam's last name, so. All right, we have motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Okay, next on the agenda is another appointment. This is the ratification of seasonal laborers. Jay?
As the board knows, every year we put on seasonal laborers starting in April. They work for as long as they can into the fall, and then we bring them back on in the spring, so we're due to bring them back on. We have settled on a number of 5 maximum at this time. We feel that that's the most efficient and cost-effective number. You'll recognize some of the, at least 3 of the names previously, and then we have 1 new addition this year. They're all from Adams, and they'll be working primarily with the cemetery, parks, and ground staff, mowing the lawns of the public cemeteries and our fields.
Okay, we have a letter from Jay Green to the board. This letter is to advise the Board of Selectmen that subject to the board's ratification as provided in Section 10 of the town charter, Ryan Booty, Mike Durant, Jacob Lesnick, Sean Marco, and Brendan Schwarzer have been appointed to the seasonal labor positions for the Department of Public Works. All seasonal labor applicants were interviewed by the Parks and Grounds staff, and these 5 applicants were recommended to go forward at this time. They will be working to supplement the DPW for parks, grounds, and cemetery needs, and subject to hiring requirements, will begin immediately at the rate of $14.25 per hour. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and ratify, or make a motion to ratify the appointment of the following to be hired as seasonal laborers. for the Department of Public Works at the rate of $14.25 per hour. The individuals would be Ryan Booty, Mike Durant, Jacob Lesnick, Sean Marco, and Brendan Schwarzer.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Joe, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Next, we have an appointment to the Conservation Commission, Erica Dean. Eamon, did you want to come up?
Yeah. So, as I'm sure you know, the Conservation Commission is a 7-member board that works to implement and enforce the Wetlands Protection Act in our community. There are 351 conservation commissions across the Commonwealth. Since last summer, I think since before I started, there's been a vacancy on the board, and we've been actively trying to recruit someone to fill that vacancy. I do apologize, as I do not remember the name of the person who left the vacant seat.
I believe it was Tom Robinson.
Yes, that's right. Yep, Tom Robinson. So we've been looking to fill that vacancy. We've had at least one interested person, and but everything's kind of fallen through. However, we recently received application from Miss Erica Dean. I spoke with Ms. Dean, and she's also spoken with Chairman Jim Fassel of the Conservation Commission. I provide her application is there for the board to review, but she has an extensive environmental interest as well as experience working with the Lennox Conservation Commission, putting applications in front of that board, as well. Working on environmental projects that are relevant to Conservation Commission work. And so I would recommend, along with Chairman Fassel, that we appoint her to the Conservation Commission and fill the vacancy. And it's very urgent because tomorrow is a Conservation Commission meeting. So I'd like to have a full board for that.
Okay, thank you. What is the board's pleasure?
I will go ahead and make a motion to appoint Erica Dean to the Conservation Commission.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe, any discussion?
Yeah, go right ahead, Kristen.
I'm just going to ask if Ms. Dean is going to work with the town clerk to get sworn in before tomorrow's meeting?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, that'll be a requirement. Yeah.
Okay. Looks like the town clerk is here, you might want to arrange that today.
Ms. Dean is here too.
Oh, Ms. Dean is here. I was wondering if that was Ms. Dean, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
You mind coming up, Erica, just say hello?
We might be able to get it done tonight, if the town clerk is feeling generous.
Feeling like working tonight. It's nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm really hoping to be on the Conservation Commission. As he mentioned, I'm really passionate about nature and the town. I bought my home here in 2018. My daughter goes to high school here. We're here for the long haul. And talking a lot with Jim, he came to my house, we met there too. It really feels like the perfect fit for me.
All right, sounds good. Any other questions?
Yeah, I would just like to welcome you and thank you for once again stepping forward. That is also my passion. I was on the Conservation Commission for 30 years. I have my master's in environmental science, and it's very important as a Conservation Commission because the jurisdiction is Mass General Law, so it's very important that people get up to speed because poor decisions made by the Conservation Commission can have repercussions. I think we have a pretty good board, and your interest will go a long way in helping out. So thank you for applying.
Thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor, correct? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous, thank you. Next, we have facility use request amendment, the Adams Visitor Center and Grounds, Depot and Hoosick Streets, to include parade route. Joe Martin.
Nice to see you all again.
Nice to see you, I like the new uniforms.
Thanks. All of our committee members have it. We
made copies of our application for you and our rules and regulations that was requested at the last meeting.
So I believe, Mr. Chairman, the last two items was as Joe just said, the application for vendors, and also just finalization approval by the board of the new for this year parade route. Chief Kelly is here also just to answer any questions that you may have about street closure and what that parade route may be. Chief Kelly's hiding around the corner, but he's here.
We did have a meeting with the chief. We went over the parade route. He approved the parade route, told us what we can and couldn't do. And the parade route was, we were gonna start on Valley Street and turn right onto Columbia and then left onto East Maple, and that's where it would end. They would just pull back into the bank. It's a very, very short one. It's just gonna be from different responders. We're asking the state police, we're asking the Berkshire County Sheriff's Department to attend. It's a real short one, but just to kick off our event.
And to show pride in our responders, which is what the whole purpose of our event is. And to, you know, to let them show off their dress uniforms, and we can hopefully line the streets and clap and wave. And
We're going to, and I don't know how to phrase it, but we're gonna, the best looking apparatus, we're gonna give a $200 to their company for a donation. It's just they do so much for us, and that's why we decided to, you know, we want to do this every year for them. They're out there risking their lives. And we also have a April 22nd, we have a pasta buffet and a show fundraiser for them. The performer is Noah Liss. He's from season 6 of The Voice with Team Blake Shelton. Everybody asks if Blake Shelton's going to be there, and we just say, we don't know.
well, I will say Blake Shelton will not be here.
How about his wife?
Maybe.
Will Gwen be there?
Maybe.
Just
That'd be
wondering.
pretty cool.
That's a little
But
bit more.
tickets are on sale now, and
The
they're at,
proceeds will go towards the event and help make our event bigger and better than last year. Last year was great, but.
our motto is we want to make it bigger and better every year.
Okay, so the
They
event,
deserve it.
the event's going to be held, what's the location?
The
The event,
The
fundraiser,
The fundraiser
at
is
Bounty
on
Fair.
at the Bounty Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And the date again, so everybody hears?
April 22nd.
April 22nd, doors open at 6:30. It's $30 a ticket for the dinner and show, and there'll also be a 50/50 raffle for them.
Tickets can be purchased at Racing Mart or from any committee member. People can contact us on the Adams Street Fair Committee Facebook page. Send us a private message. Joe and I will get that, and we can get.
Bounty Fair also has
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
Okay. So-
Should be a fun night.
Okay, so as a father, a first responder, thank you for the work that you do and the kind words that you have
Thank you for
stated.
your service.
Any questions from the board?
Joe, can you, what were the streets again for the parade?
Starting on Valley Street,
Yep.
turning right onto Columbia Street, and then turning left onto East Maple, and they'll turn into their spots in the bank, because the bottom parking lot for the bank is going to be all the first responders. We're going to try to keep East Maple clear. We're going to park some in the, off the road near the Armory. We'll park some emergency vehicles there, because that road has to be accessed for traffic to flow. And if they have to, the first responders have to get out, that's the fastest way for them to get out. I spoke with the fire chief also, and he told us where he would like his apparatus, and the ambulance know where they're gonna go, so everybody is at a easy access where they can get out immediately if there's an emergency.
Okay. Chief Kelly, you approve this change in the parade route?
And, you know, what I can say about this one is the same thing that I'll say about your upcoming agenda item with the Memorial Day Parade. With any of these events since my arrival, every time I get the sheet, they have to come in and meet with me personally, whether it's a recurring event or not. So, in meeting with them, same as Mr. McClear, they laid out everything that they want to do. It's nothing we can't accomplish. Their parade is, he was right, it's short, so no issue there. I will say with the Memorial Day Parade, again, we'll put people in place. There'll be no issues. With this event, it's the same layout as it was last year and with other events we've held there. Same road closings, same procedure. So with any of these, there's no concern. If there was, it would have been addressed before we come before the board.
The only new one is that we're closing half of Hoosick Street this year. Last year, Hoosick Street was open, but because we went bigger,
So
we need more streets.
The way our National Night Out was, the way we had it closed, it'll be closed like that. So it's something we've done before and can accomplish. So we're good on the police side.
All right, great, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, one thing about the parade, don't make it too successful because, you know, don't ask so many, you know, so you get just too many responder vehicles and,
We want to keep it,
We're only gonna go as far as Cheshire.
Yeah.
okay, good.
And then Savoy, Clarksburg.
Okay.
We're not going any further than Cheshire.
Right.
you know, Joe gets his big ideas, and he wants to invite all of Berkshire County, and
Yeah.
I have to get that fishing pole out and reel Joe back
If
in.
it was up to me,
outside,
I'd have a
Yeah.
whole parade route.
Yeah.
And another question, you didn't announce who you are?
I'm Leanne O'Brien, I'm co-chair.
Okay,
I
all
was
right,
here
yeah,
last
just
year,
so
too.
people out there
Yeah.
will know who you are.
Yep.
I couldn't do it without her or my committee. We have a great committee now
We
of
do.
10 people, and we meet every single month, and when it gets closer, we meet every week, and
It's nice, because last year was just Joe and I. So
Yeah.
it's so nice to have, and so many members of the community have stepped up, how can I help? You know, it was great last year, I want to be a part of that.
If I could just add
Sure.
something based on what Joe said, I actually think that involvement from other communities would be a positive thing.
Yeah.
The community loves our first responders, and first responders loves to get involved in things like this. So if it, quite frankly, if it grows, I think it's positive for us. It separates us from everyone else. So I think it'll just boost Adams up in a positive way.
Right, that wasn't really my intent, Chief. I just didn't want, you know, to get so many vehicles, you know, if you ask everybody from Berkshire County to come up and, you know, you have a small parade and everybody's, you know, all of a sudden you're just gonna have a cluster.
Well, at least we will be able to stop traffic, right?
No doubt.
Have lights and sirens.
And crime
In the
down
rapid-
for that time.
in the letter that we send them, we're only asking for one apparatus.
Yeah.
How about the Copsicle truck? That's,
And we've talked about Capsco getting them up here. I don't know if I have to, just call Pittsfield.
the chief can get you in touch with,
I tried last year to get the popsicle.
I think they were already booked somewhere,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah,
Officer
and
Derby.
of course.
I messaged Dan.
We'll get first
I
dibs.
messaged Officer Derby, and
Yeah.
it was booked. I guess.
Yep.
Officer Derby also has his hands full now with.
Yes, he does.
Officer Winston.
Officer Winston, the comfort dog, so maybe he'll make an appearance.
I do too.
He's a celebrity.
Yes, he is.
We have a
I'm
big-
looking forward to meeting Officer Winston.
We have the big canine show,
Yep.
Kumar,
Yep.
so people are looking for that. They loved it
They loved
last
it
year.
Last year, true, a big.
And the
fan.
train's coming back, that was a hit.
Yep. Yep. Lots of great entertainment again this year.
Great.
Lots of children's entertainment. It's gonna be a great family-oriented day.
And I did speak with the gentleman from last year, and he is aware, and it is not going to happen again.
Oh, okay, thank you. That was from the last meeting.
And it's
Yeah.
listed right on the application. Everyone has to sign that they're aware of the rules, and they will be.
Any profanity, anything that we don't like, they're taking it down or they're leaving.
And they're not gonna be invited back.
Nope.
Good to hear. It's a family event.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I have a procedural question.
course. Yep.
So at the March 2nd meeting, which I was not in attendance at, but I was reading through the minutes, it has already been approved, the use of the visitor center, the grounds depot in Hoosick Street, correct? So are we just only approving the parade?
The exact parade route.
Just the parade route, so it would be the use of, again, it was Valley Street, Columbia, and East Maple, correct?
Correct, yep.
I have a
Thanks.
question.
It was like-
Last year, we were able to use the visitor center for the bathrooms. Is that going to be an option this year?
We're still gonna have porta-johns, but it's nice to,
My husband, and we were told that the building was cleaner after our event than it was before our event. My husband makes sure that place sparkles.
If you, Leanne, if you could just, speaking for the board, if you could just do that again,
Absolutely.
please, that would be sure.
Absolutely.
What we're finding is the amount of events that we're having there with people, and it's a good problem to have by any means, but if you augment with the portable units,
Yep.
please, as well. But yes, the building will be
They'll
open.
absolutely will
And
make
as
sure.
We
long
will
as you
make sure
folks can
it's
go in there,
spotless.
that'd be fine.
We were there till after 9 o'clock, making sure the parking lot was spotless in the inside of the
it looked
building.
like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Our
We went-
facilities crew is grateful, so thank you, as am I.
Absolutely.
But it's always good to augment. Those bathrooms aren't as large as.
There was
people.
5 of us with brooms and dustpans
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing. I was picking up dirt I
Leaf
shouldn't have been. We had the leaf blower going.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the use or the closure of Valley Street, Columbia Street, and East Maple Street for the purposes of the Adams Street Fair Parade to be held on July 24th, 2022. And I'm just going to add in coordination with the Adams Police Department for street closures, timing, et cetera.
Okay, we have a motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe, any further discussion?
Just one question, you're gonna shut off, Hoosick Street right where they go in for the visitor parking where we have events, and so people will be able to use Winter Street,
Yeah.
if they need to exit out?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Weber Street's one way, so that would make it difficult. Okay,
Yep, same as the National Night Out setup, right? Okay,
yeah.
great. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
See you later.
John,
Huh?
great 1 minute to move
Okay.
easels out of the way.
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Get ready for the next item.
See you later, be well. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
yeah, nice to meet you.
We'll be in
Look forward
touch.
to working with you. Yep.
Okay, moving on, as the chief mentioned, approval of Memorial Day parade events. Memorial Park is the beginning, it's Memorial Park East, to Columbia Street, and other town property. The request is coming in from Keith McClear, the American Legion Post 160, for May 30th, 2022, 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the Memorial Day Parade and Ceremony. The last couple of years, we did not have the parade, correct?
2 years,
2 years in a row,
last 2 years.
and so we're going to have one this year. Anything to add, Jay?
Just want to thank the American Legion for taking up the mantle again to be able, so that we can celebrate our fallen veterans, our fallen soldiers from Adams and other communities on that day. They do a nice job. I was warmly welcomed my first year, 2019, so we're looking forward to having it again. Essentially, this is mostly being presented tonight so that our folks know that we will be having a parade this year, but also just for the board to endorse the road closure, because we haven't done it in 2 years. Keith was supposed to be here tonight, he wasn't sure he could be here, but there's really no change from the many years that the parade was offered, and as the chief said, he had already sat down, reviewed the parade route with the chief, there's no changes. Forest wardens and APD will be on duty in the normal course for road closures.
Okay, any questions? Joe?
Yeah, so it's gonna be the standard route that we used to take down Hoosick up, okay.
Up Summer.
Because it didn't, wasn't made clear here.
Back around, unless you changed it, Chief, but as far as I know, it's the
Everything is
same.
correct, even
Okay.
though I haven't been involved in one of them. It is it is what you have expected over the years.
Okay.
This will be the Chief's first parade.
Yes,
Got your Class A's?
I'll be wearing them tomorrow night.
Okay.
We have an officer graduating the academy.
Oh, okay,
Excellent.
great.
Of which I can attend because I'll be with you folks at our Finance Committee workshop.
Oh, exciting. Okay, Finance Committee. All right, so what is the board's pleasure? Great, it's great that we're going to be able to do this again.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Memorial Day Parade event using Memorial Park East, Columbia Street, Hoosick Street, Summer Street, Center Street, Park Street, and other town property in coordination with the Adams Police Department.
Motion by Christine.
Oh, I'm sorry. To be used by the American Legion Post 160 for the Memorial Day Parade on May 30th, 2022, from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sorry.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, none, unanimous. Thank you, Chief.
yeah,
Thank you, Chief.
night.
Okay, next, we have assignment of street numbers. 0 Forest Park Ave to 41 Forest Park Ave. Who's going to explain this?
I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
These are before the board in the normal course. When there's a new building constructed, the building needs to be numbered with an assignment from the building inspector, so I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. Garner this evening. We can take both of them, and then you can vote separately on them. The first one, 0 Forest Park Avenue to 41 Forest Park Avenue. Believe it or not, that is the Forest Park Country Club.
All right.
It has historically been known as 41 Forest Park Avenue. They use a P.O. box for mail, however, nowhere in official records has that number actually been assigned. So there was a slight delay in a building permit because they just had a new roof added, and that delayed it by a couple days simply because nobody, we didn't have the official address. So that's just correcting that. So you'll actually be approving something that's been in place for a while. And I'm always pleased to announce the proposed 34 East Orchard Terrace, a brand-new home here in the town of Adams.
Fantastic. Okay, what is so we need to approve these separately, one at a time. What is the board's direction here?
I will go ahead and make a motion to assign a street number for map 115, parcel 118, current number 0 Forest Park, to the proposed 41 Forest Park.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous.
Go ahead and make a motion to to assign the street number for map 224, parcel 50, current number 0 East Orchard Terrace, to the proposed 34 East Orchard Terrace.
Okay, motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
second,
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Next, we have the changing of polling location. 92 North Summer Street, 230 Columbia Street. And we do have our town clerk here. Hello, Haley.
Hello.
So this is good news. There's been a lot of discussion over the years in regards to possibly this happening. So what do
It
you?
is good news. I'm a little sad to say, though, that we will not have the cleanest DPW garage in Berkshire County any longer.
Oh, I don't know, we'll make sure it still is.
Okay, if we can still make sure it's the cleanest DPW garage, I'll be happy with that. And I know that they're gonna be very disappointed that they don't have to clean it and have us move in every so often and take over. But yes, I'm very excited about this. I've been working with town officials and specifically with our building commissioner, Jerry Gardner, to get this up and ready for you guys to be able to make that change from the DPW garage to the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street. And I'm actually happy to say that, not that I don't want the COA to move in, but I'm kind of excited that, like, this is going to be the first event there, you know, for the town to kind of showcase, so I'm rather excited about that, too. Sorry.
No problem. This was one of the original goals of the town for the building itself, and we've had a lot of discussion over the years, and it's something we set a goal and we worked on it and we saw it through, and it's happening. It's great to see. Okay. What is the board's pleasure on this?
I would like to enthusiastically make a motion to change the polling place in Adams from the DPW garage located at 92 North Summer Street to the Adams Memorial Building, formerly known as Adams Memorial School, located at 30 Columbia Street.
Motion by Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Joe seconds. Do we have any discussion, questions?
Yeah, I just want to make a statement that it says it has been determined that the public convenience and public health would be better served, but I think the public safety is going to be much more.
I think it's all of those, yes.
Yes, public safety should be included because it was very dangerous, I believe anyways, at the DPW, particularly when nightfall came about and people were crossing. The road is narrow, so I'm very happy to see it being changed. I think it's a much better place for voting.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous. And next, we have approval of May 2nd, 2022 town election warrants.
John, just before Haley mentions that, I just want to thank Haley for taking the time, along with Jerry Garner and our facility staff. It was a very easy vote tonight for the board, but Haley actually had to go to the state, send pictures of the building, and really express to the state the building is ready to go, and they actually approve it. So what the board did tonight was the last step, but Haley had shouldered that and all. So I just wanted to thank Haley for her efforts with it to get us back to that place. I was speaking with Jenny Duval and Jack Tarsa today, and they were very excited about getting back over to Memorial. In fact, Jack was telling me he remembers when the building was being constructed, and he went and climbed around on the property. So I just wanted to thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I didn't realize it was going to the state, and I was involved with it. Thank you. Approval of May 2nd, 2022 town election warrant. Haley.
So before you tonight, you have the town election warrant for our town election, which is May 2nd, Monday, May 2nd, 2022. You're signing the warrant so that we're going to cast votes for what is on the ballot. We have one moderator, 2 selectmen, 1 treasurer-collector, 1 assessor, 1 Board of Health member for 3 years, 1 Board of Health member for 2 years, 2 library trustees, 2 park commissioners for 2 years, 1 park commissioner for 1 year, a planning board member for 5 years, a cemetery commissioner for 3 years, a housing authority member for 3 years, a redevelopment authority member for 5 years, 1 Northern Berkshire Regional Vocational School District Committee member for 3 years, 2 Hoosick Valley Regional School District Committee members, Adams representatives for 3 years, 1 Hoosick Valley Regional School District Committee member, Cheshire representative for 3 years, and then we have a variety of town meeting members that will be on the ballot also. So approving the warrant tonight will get us posted, and we'll be set to go with that. Ballots will be ordered tomorrow. So absentee ballots, I anticipate, will be going out by the end of next week. Anybody that is interested that cannot come to the election on May 2nd and see our new digs, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll tell you how to do your absentee ballot. And one other thing, last day to register to vote is next Tuesday, April 12th. Town Hall, my office specifically, will be open until 8 o'clock. So we will be open from 8 to 8 next Tuesday, April 12th. In case you are not registered to vote, or you've moved from a different community, or you've just recently moved into Adams and you would like to vote in our May 2nd election.
Great. Thank you. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the May 2nd, 2022 town election warrant as presented by the town clerk.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have just Monday, wasn't historically we had our elections on Tuesday? Okay, I don't remember, but another thing I'd like to say, I feel that it's a little discouraging that we didn't have any races whatsoever. I saw that Lennox had the same predicament, but I wish people would step forward, because I think competition is important, and I don't know how you get people to do it. It's pretty tough, but I was a little disappointed that I didn't even have anybody running against me. I just think it's healthy for the community
Yeah.
to, either it may signify that people are happy with who they have, or it may be, on the other hand, it's just nobody wants, no interest in it. But, so I guess it could go either way, but certainly that's no reflection of you or anything, but I would like people to get more involved, because I think it's important and
Yes,
it's
it is.
healthy for a democracy.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you, Haley.
Perfect, and I forgot to mention that the polling location, polling time will be from 7 to 7 also, so.
7 to 7.
7 to 7, but I'm sure that there'll be an announcement in your next regular meeting in a couple of weeks, and we will be doing an email blast to anybody, like all of our town meeting members, to let them know that the polling location has changed. We're going to reach out to all of our candidates that are on the ballot this year, along with putting signs out front and doing a reverse 911 call, so that people
Okay.
are aware of where our polling location is, and obviously having a sign down at the DPW garage directing them back to the middle school, so. Memorial Building, I'm gonna always call it the middle school, sorry.
A and B.
It's hard to break old habits, it's kind of like saying Hoosick Valley Regional School District, and I used to want to say Adams Cheshire, so.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
thank you. All right. I think that is it for new business. Next, we have department reports. Page 2. Town Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just briefly, tonight, it is construction season. We're starting to ramp up a few projects already here in the town, so people will see that there's going to start to be some more traffic and some details out there. For example, the Commercial Street South project has restarted. Work resumes to finish some of the sidewalk, curbing work, structure work, and final overlay on that asphalt as well. That'll continue all the way through spring and summer. Davis Street Bridge, most of that work was completed last year, I believe, Eamon, correct? The only work remaining this year is asphalt work there, so just a heads up to that neighborhood.
Paving and some loam and seed.
So that project will be wrapping up. As everyone's probably heard Joe over the last several months periodically check in on the Jordan Street grant, which is a FEMA and MEMA emergency management grant. I'm pleased to report, finally, after a very lengthy application process, we have official notice that we've been awarded that grant. It is for design and construction. So I just warn everybody, we have the grant, but it is not purely for construction. The design is probably about another year and a half worth of work. But thankfully, it will be fully funded by FEMA and MEMA, and will also be reimbursed for town staff time that works on managing that grant. So it's a really good program, it was worth the wait. But again, the remediation has to be designed. So we finally got that. I should also tell everyone tonight, with the conclusion of the Davis Street Bridge work, we're almost completely exhausted the $2.5 million worth of storm remediation work that we were doing. So we're approaching that number. So we've done a lot of work with that funding. As everyone knows, it is pothole season. As of right now, DPW began pothole filling this week. We were able to obtain hot mix from a plant in Sunderland. They began at Town Line South, Cheshire, Walling Road area, and so far, over 2 days, 22 tons of blacktop were placed in that area. Work still needs to continue on East Road, however, due to the condition of Howland Avenue, It's the intent of DPW probably to shift there next week and start patching around there. So I just like to ask everyone to please drive carefully, please mind the DPW crews when they're out there working, particularly on Howland Avenue. The DPW reported this week that many of our constituents slowly drove by, gave our DPW crews a thank you and a thumbs up, so they really appreciate that positive feedback, so thank you for doing that. After Howland and East Roads completed, work will then proceed over to West and Front Street, which are the three main thoroughfares, north and south through town, and then from there, they'll probably begin into center town and move out. So that work is continuing. I'm finally pleased to be able to announce tonight, it was embargoed the last time, but the town of Adams did receive a shared services grant with the city of North Adams and town of Williamstown for human resources. It's $100,000. It's for a pilot program for 1 year, no cost to us. The program works really well. We'll be taking up some amount of cost next fiscal year in order to bring on either a full-time HR person to share with the three communities or a consultant. So that was a great win for us. I'd like to thank Eamon Coughlin, who put a lot of time and effort into that grant for all three communities. And lastly, we have chosen a owner's project manager for the Greylock Glen Outdoor Center. That is the firm that will manage the project. We'll make sure that the general contractor is on schedule, on budget, et cetera, and be the town's eyes and ears up there. So more information on that soon, but that should pretty much bring us up to full staff in terms of the construction team. And we're still looking, as far as the weather goes, probably for some form of groundbreaking at some point early May, I would say, at this time.
Just one quick question on the George Street grant. What was the amount awarded? Do you remember?
I should have assumed I want to say it's over $1 million. I want to say it's $1.5 million, maybe, Eamon?
At least.
It's a large amount.
All right,
It's a substantial amount.
okay. So we can get that number, then we can report out next time. Questions, Christine? Good, Joe?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, that human resource, what will that position encompass? How will it be used?
Job descriptions, hiring postings, retention policy, diversity inclusion, being able to update on an annual basis our personnel manual, personal rules.
Yeah.
Are we offering sufficient vacation time to people? What do our salaries look like, hourly rates? Look at all of that stuff and keep us current and modern. The town's been doing it, but it does it in 5-year, 6-year increments, and it's very stale. And it's just time that, and Williamstown's accepted it, and North Adams too. Similar grant was awarded to a few South County communities to do it. So it's essentially going to share an HR personnel director for the town.
Okay, so it's shared, okay, good. And that was good news with that Jordan Street, because I've been worried about that, because if we ever had, some heavy rains and flooding, that whole block would have been, would have been trouble for us, because we would have been perhaps at fault. And another thing, I noticed some equipment down at the Hoosick Valley Coal and Grain. What's going on there?
Eamon, you want to fill us in on that one?
Yeah, so there's a...
Could you come up, Eamon, please?
Eamon, please approach the podium.
And state your name for the record.
This is I guess we call it almost phase 2 of environmental cleanup down there. So phase 1 included some remediation of hazardous materials inside the coal and grain buildings themselves. And the second phase is environmental cleanup of the soil and grounds there to kind of prepare for our park project, which will be hopefully starting up soon. So they're pulling out old coal that's left down at the site. They thought there was an underground storage tank, large, maybe like 1,000-gallon or something. But they've done some exploratory digging, and it turns out there's no storage tank, which is always good. It's just kind of a basic environmental cleanup down there, and it should be wrapping up pretty quickly. And kind of one benefit of that is that they're doing quite a bit of clearing of the land, which will help kind of, as I said, prepare for the CDBG funded park project that we're going to have going on next year.
Okay, is there a time when completion of that phase is going to be done? Do you have any idea?
It should be done in the next couple of weeks. They don't expect to be on site very, very long.
I'm talking the completion of the park itself.
Oh, the park itself. We'll probably, we're waiting to hear, CDBG contract paperwork is in. It hasn't been signed by the state yet. After that, we'll have to go through a notification, environmental notification procedure, and then we'll be good to go to use those funds. So we hope to bid the project out, later, hopefully in the next few months, probably before the end of the fiscal year, and with the goal of selecting a contractor and trying to get, construction started maybe by the fall or so, and likely to go into the next year. Probably will not be wrapped up this calendar year.
Okay, thank you.
I think maybe next meeting, we'll try to give you an update on all the construction projects that we're gonna have starting. We're gonna have quite a few going.
Yeah.
Some may be short duration, some may be longer, but we have a lot of work going on.
Yeah, and just this is, I mentioned this to Eamon, and I also mentioned it to Donna. You were out about possible monies for from the state to do, because state-owned state-owned highways that are being taken care of by the town. There's going to be a good pot of money, and so there's possibility that that project can move along quicker. It's going to go to the Senate now to see if they'll pass the money something that.
We've been knocking on that door for probably 2.5 years, so I'm glad to hear that there's additional movement on it.
Yeah.
That's really the conversation that Howland Avenue, we have with Mass DOT. It may be municipal maintained, at least during the warm weather months, but it's plowed by the state in the winter, and it's a very large high-speed roadway for a municipality, and it's part of the state numbered highway system. So there is a program out there. Glad to see that they're going to augment that, and we'll put our fishing rods out there.
Right. I guess it would be July if the money was going to be released, if it goes through a Senate, but you have to have a engineering plan in place before you could get the money. So that's just was told to me, so.
So is that gonna go through the MPO then, if you're looking for 25% engineer, or 25% of the project complete?
I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know the specifics.
Okay, any other questions for the town administrator? Okay, town council's report.
Thank you. Since my last report on March 16th, I performed work on the following. I wrote a conflict of interest opinion concerning a town employee running for an elected position. I provided a letter for use in the town audit. I continued my preparation for the Foster versus Board of Health hearing. I reviewed the proposed revisions to the marijuana bylaw. I reviewed and provided a response to a question regarding a potential conflict of interest by a member of the Finance Committee. I researched and provided a response to the question as to whether employees of the public library could be video recorded at work by members of the public. I reviewed and commented on a proposed application for an all-alcoholic beverages license, and I attended today's Board of Health meeting.
Okay, any questions for Attorney St. John? Thank you. All right, subcommittee and liaison reports. Joe?
Well, I just had an executive committee meeting via Zoom, but I go on a telephone because I'm not a Zoomer. And we're redrafting the 2015 Mohawk Trail Woodlands Partnership booklet because there's changes to it. 2015, we weren't under the guise of the state and federal government, so there's being some changes, and it's going to be brought to the public. And I would like to find a time where someone from the Mohawk Trail Woodlands Partnership could come here and speak to the changes at a public meeting, which is televised, so that people could hear what's going on and have a chance to make comments on the new draft. So that's basically all I have.
So you can work with Deb on a future agenda?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Christine?
I have 3 items. One on licensing. You may have seen that on Friday, Governor Baker signed into law a couple of different things. One that involves or a couple of things that involve our licensing. One is regarding patios and outdoor expansions, that they would be able to continue their outdoor operations until April 1st of 2023. The other is the takeaway or delivery of alcohol. That would also be continued until April 1 of 2023. There is a public hearing tomorrow, Thursday, April 7th at noon, to discuss proposed guidelines for the operation of patios and outdoor alcohol service. So if anyone is interested, there is information on the ABCC's website for that. I also wanted to mention, I know that there were a couple of us who attended the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition Legislative breakfast about a week ago, or a week and a half ago. It was a really great overview of all of the programs and services that the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition does provide. I have sent that information on to a number of different groups in the town of Adams, asking them to connect with the coalition and get that rundown themselves. So it was a really thoughtful, meaningful presentation. And then on Friday, the chairman did participate, our town administrator participated. I participated as a member of the Regional Emergency Planning Committee Executive Committee, but there was a training that was done for public officials, senior officials, regarding emergency management. Brian, thank you very much for attending and reporting out on that training. It was good to have just about all of the Northern Berkshire communities in the room and represented to hear how the REPC operates, how they were able to stand up the Emergency Operations Center for the pandemic, how we all came together, and how we will continue to work together through all emergency management operations. So I wanted to thank our chairman for attending on behalf of the REPC.
Others in attendance I saw were the chairman of the Board of Health, Dr. Rhodes, Bruce Shepley. Good to see Bruce. Chief Kelly was there.
Superintendent John Barrett from the Water District was there. Chief Pansecki could not attend, but he usually does attend those.
Right. And our DPW, Tim Coda.
Operations Supervisor Tim Coda was there as well.
Adams was well represented.
We were.
And it was good to sit with other community select board chairs and have discussions, so it was a very good session. Okay, let's see. Announcements in good of the order. Christine?
2 items. One, there was a public notice issued for April 19th for a public meeting, public outreach meeting, is that what we're calling, at 6 o'clock with Burke's Greens, and it's at the Visitor Center, correct, Damon?
Yes, that's all right.
Okay. This is our last televised public meeting before that outreach meeting, so I wanted to make sure that I got that in there. Did I get all those details?
Yep.
Okay. Burke's,
Well, I can just say they're proposing a,
that's the 44 Spring Street.
First Greens is another marijuana developer interested in moving into the community. They're proposing a pretty big operation, vertically integrated cultivation, manufacturing, and retail at 44 Spring Street. So.
That would be Wingwell LLC, who presented, not the last time, but the time before. They're the group that has the other location in Palmer.
Correct.
So the last group you saw was Mota. They're at John Burke's former property. They are not ready yet for this level, but Wingwell and Burke's Greens, they are. So this is the required hearing for CCC licensing.
And that was the gentleman that was here, I think their family's involved with Burger King or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they own the North Adams Burger King.
Eric Cromwell is one of the principals.
Okay,
Yes.
right, okay, now I recognize who they are.
April 19th, 6 o'clock, Visitor Center.
Visitor Center.
Burke's Greens outreach meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. I got Isaiah's note.
Yeah.
I knew to respond. And then the other item, it was really nice to see Berkshire Scenic, the Hoosick Valley Service, put together their bunny hop train schedule. So if you are looking for something to do with the family, Saturday, April 9th, noon, 1 and 2:30, and Sunday, April 10th, noon, 1 and 2:30 as well. You can go on the bunny hop train, but it's nice to see them running.
I think also they have the cabaret. I think the cabaret's back too.
I think that was last weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I got this notice today.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Yes, I was happy to see that Pro Adams was given $49,000, which will help out quite a bit to bring more good things to the town. Also, let's see, I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm getting tired. First thing, I've been bringing this up, and I'm going to continue to do so until there's a resolution of this war in Ukraine. As everyone knows, it seems like it's tending, in my opinion, to really get more dirty than it's ever been before. When I read and see in the town of Bucha, that's outside of Kiev, what the atrocities were brought to the forefront, where people were bound and shot in the head, mass burial grounds with people just thrown into graves, women being accosted in front of their children, and the Russians saying that it was orchestrated. And I'm kind of tired of that stuff. And I'm proud of my Polish heritage. I want to say that because Poland has really stepped forward welcoming the people of Ukraine, because Poland really knows what it is to get into a war, World War II and even World War I. So I'm glad that they're bringing people into their country with open arms and helping them out. But once again, I just want people to pray for a resolution as quick as possible so that this world can be a place where people can live. So I'm just going to stop there. I had something else, but I can't think of it right now, so I'm good. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. We have a executive session this evening. When we do adjourn, as come out of executive session, there will be no other business conducted except to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for reason number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. It is for 16 Elbert Street, and we would come out of executive session for only to adjourn.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
Second?
Roll call vote. Joe?
Yes.
Yes. Christine?
Yes.
Unanimous. Okay, we'll take a 2-minute break.